Welcome back to the sofa. You probably remember about a week or so ago when we built this, the Sonic the Hedgehog Lego Ideas set. Now, I just knocked him off. That's fine. He'll live. He'll be right. So, I was saying before about how I was doing some digging, and I wanted to see if I could find. I'll get the instructions here. This. Now, as I said, this was the original idea that the creator came up with. Now, I went around on Google for ages looking for, see if I could find if this was an official set, and as it turns out, it wasn't. But I got led down the rabbit hole of Lego MoCs. Now, I did not know that's what they were called at the time, obviously, because you can make anything you want with Lego, but I didn't realise there was an entire community behind it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I found all sorts, like fan-created stages. There was one for Chemical Plant Zone for Sonic 2, which, if I can get hold of, I would love to build at some point. I actually found a couple of different versions, so maybe we might be able to do what I'm going to do with this and shove extra stuff together. Because, as I mentioned, the official creator posted on Rebrickable, and I'll post the link in the description down below, the expansion set to this. Because there was a bunch of stuff which apparently got left out of the original sets, not including the original design and stuff when they were making it and they created this. Apparently there was a bunch of extra stuff which didn't get included, but the creator has helpfully posted free instructions on how to make it, as well as all the parts you would need. Now, all the parts you would need do come from this set, so I either have to take this apart and rearrange it, or do what I've done, which is buy a second set. Now, another one of these came second hand, so that's why all the parts are kind of loose in the box. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to build all of the expansion things and enhance this. Now, the instructions aren't on a physical thing. I don't have a printer, so I can't print them out and show them to you one step at a time. But I have them saved as a PDF on my computer, which is behind me, linked up to the audio, which is up here. The microphone's literally right in front of my face, so I can't lean too far forward. But we're going to go through those, and we're going to modify this. There is also an extra third video for this I'm going to make, which pertains to the Eggy Boy. But the parts for that haven't actually arrived yet. So when they do, I will make a part 3 for that. But in the meantime, let's get building, shall we? Because I don't have the instructions to show you all the things as I build them, I am just going to jump cut into between when I've got each individual module built, and then we can find out and look at all of them separately and work out what we're going to do with this. Because it's modular, you can put them in any space that you want. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it yet. I believe there are some loadout suggestions that the creator has come up with, but let's build it first, shall we? Right, on to the first one. Da, 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 da. We have the first little section here. Oh, come on, autofocus. Am I going to have to switch back to manual focus again? There we go. Yeah, there we are. So remember when I said about before at the start where the tree is, which is there, you can't actually see because I've zoomed in, but now there's that little 3D platform bit with the thing at the start. Well, there we go. It's actually in the included expansion of modules, so I'm really quite pleased with that. It's got a bit of depth to it as well. You can kind of see there, I can stick my finger in it and stuff, and it's got like looks like an actual structure, I suppose, of the rock. Again, it's another modular component, which looks pretty good actually. This is probably going to go at the start. I'll put it all together at the end. But this actually took quite a while to build considering its size, especially this section here. I'll point to it from the back. This section, I'm not entirely sure if the instructions were in the correct order, because it felt very structurally insecure to put it all together and kept wanting to fold apart or fall over and stuff until the lid came on here, this little platform section, the green bits. So it might have been best to build them separately, put them together, and then put the thing on, because the way the instructions had it is you're doing one at a time, you're very likely to knock things apart. So instructions weren't super clear, but I managed it. Next one. Some time has passed since the last jump cut. with this monstrosity. And that jump cut represents about an hour and a half, if not 2 hours, building this little section with the ramps and things, utilising the parts of the loop-de-loop there. This was the longest thing to build so far, because it's not just these bits on the outside with a pattern are not just on the outside, they're on the inside too. I don't know if you can kind of make them out there underneath with the structure and stuff. So I had to build all of these parts inside. Oh, and it was just very, very tedious, to be quite honest. And that pink thing there is supposed to be one of the rocks, by the way. The little grey rock things that are on the stage. That's what that's supposed to be. The grey-pink. It's how it turned on your television, I suppose. It always looked grey on my CRT telly when I was a kid, but that's what that's meant to be. And look, the little power-up hidden in the tree. I can get the focus on it. There we go. Look, power-up hidden in the tree. I quite like that. Again, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put these just yet, but these are turning out really rather well. Now, I don't know what it is, but there's just something so satisfying about building Lego stuff, especially something that's as complicated as this. Now, it doesn't look complicated, but if I try and zoom in so you can see and get the focus right, they're all individual little single square tiles, so every single one of those needed putting in and putting all the parts together and stuff as well. It is very satisfying once it's together, but zoom out. Oh, no, wrong way. There it is. Yep. Once it's all out together, it looks great and it is satisfying. I'm very pleased with how this turned out, but it was very frustrating at parts. Again, the same problem I had with the previous chunk is when putting the stuff together, it kept wanting to knock apart. And things were kind of weird and not expect how you would expect them to go, but I worked it out in the end, as you can see. Now let's move on to one of the other things that came with this section, actually, is one of the new... Oh, I just bumped the microphone. Another Badnik. In this case, one of the Buzz Bombers. It reuses the face from the Motobug, which is blurry in the background there. There he is. We uses the face of one of those, but also I like how it cleverly uses the clear stand thing for its wings as well, which is quite nice. And you can fix it to the back of the stage on one of these transparent lamppost looking things. I'm not sure if I want to put something in its tail to indicate that it's firing or something, but it looks quite nice. The only problem with this I have is that it's a little bit flimsy. These wings come off extremely easily, so I've got to be very careful with that. I'm going to put him down to one side. And yeah, no, there he is, he's safe. I thought he fell apart then. And the other Badnik that you got is it's one of the little piranha fish. That's really quite cute, actually. I think I might fix that to the bridge so it looks like it's jumping out of the water or something, because that makes the most sense of where it should go, because they kind of jump up, don't they? That's out of focus. There we go, they kind of jump up out of the water, don't they? So if I can fix it to the bridge there or something, I'm not entirely sure just yet. I'm still working it out. I've got loads of spare pieces, actually, because I didn't use the entire set to build all these expansion things. I probably still have a couple of hundred spare pieces to the side, so I'm going to see what I can do with those, if anything, as we move on to the next part, which is a fairly straightforward... just a little platform with another flower on it. It's not the most exciting piece in the world, but it helps expand out the layout, I suppose. I could probably put one of the Badniks on it or something. Speaking of Badniks, one thing that I built with this, out of the set's Dr. Eggman pieces, little Egg Robo. Now that is really quite cute. His gun's falling out of his hand. Hang on a second. There we go. Now, I don't know if his eyes are going to come out with the little red gem things that they've given him, but that is really quite cute. Again, though, the instructions for this, you had to put on this... Oh, and that's gone. You had to put on his chest square plate thing here, and one on the back, and they were just loose, and they were doing this constantly, and they kept wanting to fall off, and his arms are a bit floppy. Now, I don't know if that's because this Lego is second-hand, so it's worn itself a bit loose over time, as Lego tends to do, especially when it's not the newest pieces in the world, especially like I used to build Bionicles and stuff when I was a kid, and my mum would buy me like second-hand just Bionicle job lots and things to put stuff together, and the ball and socket joints for the Bionicles, when they were quite old, they would just be very, very loose, as it tends to get a little bit warped over time, and this set is a couple of years old now, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, or it's just very well used parts of Lego, which, to be fair, I mean, someone's played with it and enjoyed it, because like I say, bought this second hand, so I'm not going to complain if it's been pre-loved. The seller did say they've cleaned it, and on the back, he's got a little jetpack. That's really quite cute, I quite like him. And I need to find where his pistol went. There it is. Again, bog standards, it's like a Star Wars pistol with an extra bit on the front. Nothing too exciting, but it looks quite cute, and it fits in his hands like the... oh, I dropped it again. And it fits in his hand like the gems fit in Robotnik's hands in the back there, as you can see. He still looks like a sim, he's got the one in the top of his head, because I think it's funny. I'm probably just going to leave it there, to be honest. Anyway, on to the next piece, which is this. And it's out of focus. Which is this. Now, I have taken some creative liberties with this, because the original version of this piece for going in the set is just this square platform on the base. It doesn't have these things in the background. I've added these parts in to reuse some of the spare parts I have. It does have the spike things, which are made out of the little pistol things, as you can see there. I might try and replace those with some actual just like Lego sticks at some point, but it was just this green base, and these are more spaced out, I suppose you could say. But also, as you can see on the original set, it's got these little pins on the end. They're very hard to see, and if I drop Robotnik he's going to shatter, but it's got some pins. If I put that back down, it's got these pins on the end, so you can, in theory, in future, what they've done is they've left themselves open if they want to create other levels, so you can slot them together in a modular fashion like you can with these. But this is a, this is made by the person who created the set as an extra. So, I squeeze my hand in, there we go. What they had done is they had the pins on one side, but these red ones here were on the back. Now what that allowed you to do was allowed you to put this one here and have those there, so you could actually then make it 3D and have it go around a right angle. I don't want to do that because it's going on my bookshelf, which is over there, which is, last time I checked, completely straight. You don't tend to get right-angled bookshelves. So I changed it slightly. I moved the stuff around on the base, and I've moved that onto the side, so I can just shove that on the end there. Have this go on the end, and I've also left space for another little power-up thing to go on there. So one of those two, which is on the top, on there, I'm going to put on this instead, and just move it around. And also, because I had so many parts left over, I just used some of these to make like some rock formations and stuff to blend into the background, because otherwise it was just completely flat, and it was a little bit boring. So I've enhanced it slightly, so at least I have, in my opinion. Maybe you hate it, I don't know, but I like to think that it looks a little bit more colourful than just a flat thing now. And it blends in, I suppose, but we'll see what happens when I put it all together. And there is all of our little extras, looking quite nice there, going quite well with the set. And I suppose the other thing to do now is to squish it all together. Now there are a couple of loadout suggestions of how you can do it in the instructions that the creator has provided, but you don't have to do it that way, you can do it however you want. It's Lego. So I am going to put these together how I fancy, and we shall come back in a second when it's all together, I suppose. This could take some time because I've got to take all the parts off the bottom at the front now, so bear with me whilst I build it. Back in a sec. And there we have it. It's actually so big I can barely fit the entire thing in frame, but there we go. I'll just give you a quick pan over of how the entire thing looks. Now it's all been put back together. I really am quite pleased with this. It is an incredible thing that the creator of the original set has decided to give us all these extra bits to expand it, and it does look really good. Of course, because this is modular, you don't have to do it in the way I've set it up. You could put this part here, although I have modified it, so you'd have to do the same modifications I've done to put that anywhere you fancy, although I quite like how that looks on the end. I can't hold this up for too long because it is getting quite heavy. God, hang on, if I do the focus, yeah, that on the end there. Again, I'm not entirely sure how best to portray that tweak, I suppose. I might submit it as my own creation of my own to the original set on the rebrickable thing, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, that's still out of focus. There we go. I ignore the ignore the fact that it's so big and it barely fits into frame. But I'll just zoom in on Sonic there. There he is. That does pose one question though, because this is so big. Is it going to fit on my shelf? And it is, but I don't think this is quite finished just yet. Now there is going to be a part 3 to this video, because now that all this is put together, there is one thing that still remains, and that is really what to do with Dr. Eggman here, because he doesn't really have anywhere to sit. With the set, he's just kind of here at the moment. He doesn't really serve a function like he's supposed to do, because, you know, he's the boss of the stage. So with the wrecking ball and stuff. Now, I'm not building the wrecking ball, but I am going to make one more tweak to this when the parts that I've ordered come in the post, to kind of complete this entire stage for good, and then it can sit pride of place on my shelf. So I'm not entirely sure when that video is going to be. It depends on when stuff turns up in the mail, with the mail strikes and things that have been ongoing, and the system is very backed up at the minute. I don't entirely know how quickly those are going to come in. And then of course I would then need to build the thing, and I have no idea how long it's going to take me to build it, but as and when, I'll keep you posted. But thank you for joining us for part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, which is coming very soon. And of course, like I said, I have loads of leftover bricks, which means I've got weird oddities like this. Oh, just not the camera. See if I can get this in focus. I've got weird oddity bricks that are left over like that, which is just Dr. Robotnik's head. And what this... oh, come on, focus. There we go. And what this reminds me of is that bit in Sonic Spinball. You know when you do the bonus stages in Sonic Spinball, and like the one where you get the pinball machine and you have to knock his teeth out and his head blows up, and all that gets left behind is just his glasses and a nose, which just goes pink and sits on the floor. Really weird game, Sonic Spinball. That's one we're going to get to one day. But in the meantime, I am really happy with how this turns out. Just look at it. For me as a Sonic nerd, this is... oh, I've got bits of Lego stuck to my feet. Oh, there we are. I am sat on the floor whilst filming this so I can get the best angle, but just look at all of... it doesn't even fit into frame. Just... oh, God. Yeah, I don't really have somewhere for the Chaos Emeralds to go, so we're kind of just sat on the end, but for someone who's a Sonic nerd, this is amazing. There we go. That's probably the best angle we're going to get. Like I say, I've got nowhere for these to go, so we're just kind of on the end for now, but look at that. That's amazing. I am really happy with this. Thank you to the original creator for producing this, and well, I'm really glad that the official set got made. Maybe we'll take a look at some of the MoCs for the extra Sonic 1 levels people have made at some point. I did take a look for the Chemical Plant Zone creations, of which I found 4 of them, but let's just say it's quite a lot of money, so I'm not going to be able to afford it quite just yet, because this isn't my job. But who knows, maybe we'll do that in the future. It's been a joy to do part 2 of this. Join us soon for part 3, which will be coming soon. As I say, I'm not entirely sure when that's going to be, but we'll finish this off, and then we can probably say it's complete. We've built a Sonic level in Lego. But otherwise though, that's been about your lot from me. Click on screen here to take you to the complete Sonic playlist, and click on screen over here to whatever random video of mine it recommends. As always, it's been a joy to spend time with you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Join us in the next one for more shenanigans, I suppose. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now. Bye-bye.